Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Transitions Collective. I'm your host, Mary Clavier. This week I'm bringing you a solo show all about calendar management. So this is something that I've been practicing for a while now, trying out different things, what's the best way to manage my calendar. And while I don't think there's one necessarily best way to do anything, I think it's really important to find what works for you. So I want to share a little bit about what I've been doing these last few weeks that I've really gotten into a rhythm with and found really helpful for setting myself up and being as productive as I can be any given week. So there's very few tools involved. I'm a pen and paper kind of person, so I'm going to explain a couple of things about that. The first thing that I do is I set out to do my planning actually on Sunday nights. So after my kids go to bed, I kind of want to start to prepare myself for the week. You might think that, Sunday night is not your thing and you want to spend Monday morning doing it. That's fine too. I just find that Sunday night, it helps me to kind of get my head organized for the week, and then I can start Monday morning knowing what I'm doing. So I sit down on Sunday night and I write a list of all of the things that I want to do that week. So whether it's, small things or big things, whatever it might be, if it's content, if it's, I always leave time for emails and social media, that type of thing too. But some of the bigger ones might be around content or developing new products, services, or website work, anything like that. So I make a list of all of those things. If there are certain things I want to tackle in terms of, for brief transitions, it might be around ordering and inventory. Do I need to do any checks or talk with the fulfillment center? Whatever it might be. I write them all down on a plain white sheet of paper. And the list looks like this, just like a running list. Then what I do is I look at that list and I allot times, how much time I think each of the tasks will take me. So if I have that I want to write 2 blog posts, for example, how much time do I think that's going to take me? Maybe an hour. So I'll write down next to the task, I write how much time it takes. The other thing I do, and the other thing I have handy actually, is I print out my calendar for the week. So whatever I already have scheduled in terms of appointments or, either family things, I have time blocked out every morning that I get my girls ready and off to school. Anything that I already have planned for that week will show up in there. So I do print a copy of that as well. So then taking the copy of the list of the things I want to do with the amount of time that I've allotted for each of them, then I look also at my calendar and I see, okay, where are my big chunks of time? So maybe if I have to write 2 blog posts and I think they're going to take me an hour, where do I have an hour of time during the week? I also look at things like if I have any video interviews recorded, any video interviews scheduled that I'm going to be recording. Are there any solo shows that I want to do the same day? Since I'm doing video, if I want to do my hair and makeup and get ready for that, can I batch and tackle a couple of either interviews or solo episodes the same day? So I look at those kinds of things to decide where to put things in my calendar. So once again, I start with a list, I write them all down, and then I write the times next to them, how much time I think it will take for certain things. Then I look at my Google Calendar. Well, I have a printout of a Google Calendar, and as I decide where to put things, I usually just hand write them into the Google Calendar first if I'm kind of moving things around. You could, if you have your computer out and ready, you could also just stick them directly into your calendar. But I do end up translating anything on my list. I end up blocking time for on my calendar so that everything is there for the week. And then I don't really have to think about it because I have it scheduled. So a few things when you're deciding where to put things. you will get better at estimating the amount of time something takes over time. You won't get it right the first time. That's okay. Just do your best estimate based on, work that you've done in the past and how long you think things take. The other thing is, don't try to shove everything on Monday and say like, oh, well, I'll just do all 5 of these things and then I won't have anything that I need to do on Tuesday. No, that's unrealistic. You're not going to get them all done on Monday. Then it's going to just drag out over the week. That's not real planning. So look at the days, see what fits best and where it fits best. If you have certain days that you say like, this day is my off day, I'm always off on Tuesdays, or I'm always off on Fridays or something, or that's my free time for other stuff, that's fine. Block that time in there too. But make sure you only put as much as you can try to handle for each day. So I have a few learnings from doing all this, and that's one of the big ones, is really, don't overextend yourself. Plan what you can for the day. If you get to the end of the day and you have everything finished and you have time to do something else, pull something up from later in the week. But don't try to force it all into Monday and then, have it drag out all week. So once you put them in your calendar, you can, like I have here, you put them in your calendar and then you can see where everything is. I actually print out a clean copy of my calendar after I schedule everything in there. I happen to also have different businesses and different revenue streams. So I actually block the activities in my calendar based on color that I have associated with each of those. So for work, for brief transitions, if it's meetings or if it's content that I'm planning, I block that in pink. If it's something for the Transitions Collective, I put it in purple. If it's something for, and then I have another color for home stuff too. So if it's things for the house or having anything to do with the family, that gets another color. So I do that color coding so that when I print it out, I can easily see where my focus is over the week and how much time I'm spending in the different areas. That's all I do. It's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. But I have to say, it's been a game changer. I was excited to share this with all of you because it's really made me approach my week in such a different way. It really did reduce the stress of feeling frazzled, like, oh, what am I doing today? Where am I going? At first it seemed like a chore to have to plan everything Sunday night. But once you do that first Sunday and, you're kind of just ready for it the next Sunday. So a couple learnings. I started to mention them before, but I'll just mention it again now. A few things. One is, you'll get used to the amount of time that you block for things. You'll know your rhythm. You'll understand like, oh, I planned for a blog post. I wanted it to take a half hour, but really it takes me at least 45 minutes for one. Okay, so you adjust that for the following week. So you can make those adjustments as you go and even keep track or take notes if you want to, so you know for the following week. Another thing I do that I learned to limit my distractions, because sometimes something would come in and I'm like, oh, where am I going to put this in my calendar? If it's not something that's urgent, it just comes up throughout the week, I have a separate list I keep. It's a parking lot. And I actually use that on the following Sunday night. So I avoid distractions by just saying, okay, if that's something I don't need to really address it right now, then I will schedule time for it in my calendar for next week. So that has helped a lot too for the, firefighting, that you're not just always scrambling to do everything for everyone else and you're able to stick more to your own plan. So that was another big thing for me. The other thing for me, I did decide that, each morning I just kind of have a look over for the day. So I plan it all on Sunday night, but each morning I go into the day and I say, okay, let me see here what I have upcoming. And it just kind of, gets me ready for the day. And then the other big thing that I feel like also takes practice in terms of overscheduling yourself is just to leave more time than you think. Because I was always trying to cram things in and trying to get like all those 10 things done on a Monday, for example. And it just wasn't really practical and it wasn't sustainable. So now I block time also if I'm traveling. So if I'm traveling to or from an appointment, that time is blocked out on my calendar so that I don't think that I can pack it in with something else. If I'm traveling for a trip, also, I block the time on my calendar for that too. If I'm going to be on the train or on a plane, I don't plan to do any work during that time. Now, I usually take work with me and I kind of have a list of things that I could do if I get to them, but I have it blocked out so there's no meetings or scheduling anything else, because then it just gets, it gets too crazy. And it just adds unnecessary stress. So that's basically it. That's what I do for my calendar. Those are a few of the learning tips that I've had so far. It's a journey, so just be sure to, give yourself some grace and just practice. It takes time, but over the weeks you'll get into a better rhythm with yourself, and you'll find out even more what works for you. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions about anything that I went over, please feel free to reach out. I'm at mary@thetransitionscollective.com. I really look forward to speaking with you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.